Alright guys, such comic again. I hope you're doing good and enjoying your day so far. The end of FaZe Clan, it seems, is officially here after all this drama over the Christmas period. Every single member of this organisation has either quit or it seems been kicked out over these last 72 hours. The esports side of the organisation, according to Katan, is still alive and well, but could that only be a matter of time? ZooMaa, FaZe Clan is gone from the bio, no longer in FaZe Clan, but certainly still associated with the esports side as they look to continue to make that work. But surely big changes could still be coming. Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Let's talk about how we all got to this point, because over the last few days it's been very hectic indeed. FaZe, well, let's just put it this way, where they went public a couple of years ago and they sold out to some of the corporate owners that they, well, eventually brought in. They tried to become this media entity. That was probably never going to end especially well. Then it all kind of collapsed and crashed and burns. Then it kind of properly died. Banks tried to make it come back. And, well, that succeeded in some part for some short amount of time before over the last few days it's all kind of crashed out. Adapt actually hung up his FaZe chain, which I thought was pretty sad moment really. He's got this high-rise crane in the background, kind of where it all started for him. The FaZe chain is off, it's no longer FaZe Adapt. And, well, they had a few members that were still following them and still part of the organisation. Your Age was one, and just to kind of put this into context a little bit, because Your Age says that FaZe gave him basically a free mansion, free security, everything else, and he was thinking, this feels like a little bit of a red flag. It just feels like the way that the new FaZe ownership handled things with their creators was never really going to work, because they were giving them a lot of stuff, as he says, you know, free house, free security, like everything required to be a streamer at a high level. But they were, you know, and they were also getting to be part of this organization. Then they came along and told all these guys, all right, we're going to need to take 20% of your earnings across all platforms. That's what FaZe Rain, no longer FaZe Rain, but, you know, Raid, I guess, said last night, that was the deal, basically, that every single piece of earnings that they had from all the sources across all the platforms would go to FaZe. That type of relationship doesn't feel unreasonable if that was the original suggestion, right? Like if they were coming into FaZe and told, all right, we're going to give you this, but in exchange you're going to give us this. Maybe that works, but in a world where they've blown up, or like some of these creators have gained more followings because of being associated with FaZe to such an extent that they can probably just do it on their own, and now FaZe are coming out and telling them, all right, we need all these earnings from you, that's probably just not going to work. So over the last few days, it all went south, and Swag was talking about it as well and saying that effectively, as long as Apex is there, he will still be there. That then changed as of last night. So, yeah, Swag basically says some guy who knows nothing about gaming presented contracts and stuff to people in an unethical way that forced everyone out. So that was his perspective. Again, the business model just didn't work, hasn't worked for some time. This was only a matter of time, unfortunately. The business model on the esports side of the business and, well, separating the two has definitely saved FaZe on some level because, yeah, the streaming, all that side of the business is gone, but the esports side, not the media side, is still alive. Changes might be required, but as Ksan and ZooMaa are going to discuss, it's still going for now. So, and there's different people involved over there, right? But effectively, this was always going to happen, I think, to the FaZe Clan side. It was probably only a matter of time. And, well, that's when we got some of the big confirmations. FaZe Rain, as I say, he came up with a statement, right? Because he was talking about some of these issues for a long time. He got forced out after various personal related drama, but he says, end of the day, I don't exist, neither does FaZe. This is karma. You turned on the man who really made this what it was. The man that showed you it was possible and showed you how to do it. To feel your greed, ego, insecurities, congratulations. So it's not that I'm early, it was just obvious. So that's what he had to say. The other confirmation that we had last night was from FaZe Apex. Now, to me, I know that there was Temper and Banks and these other guys, but I remember, you know, the early days watching FaZe when I was growing up. Apex was always the guy to me that I like really associated with FaZe, and well, as he says, from 2011 to 2026, today I'm closing my chapter with FaZe Clan. after joining FaZe nearly 15 years ago, and he gives a statement here. But yeah, pretty remarkable, right? Because I think for many, well, certainly for myself and for Swag, because Apex recruited him onto the organization, I'm sure many others, that, you know, FaZe and Apex were just so synonymous to me from the public-facing perspective, that to see Apex no longer a part of FaZe, and as he says, I've got no ownership of FaZe, no role and influence of what comes next, I wish them the success. But, you know, it's just not going to happen anymore. There's no reason for FaZe effectively in its current form to continue. So that's what Swag says as well. He's like, all right, well, you know, if Apex is going to leave, it's time for me to depart the organization as well. So effectively, everyone goes last night. FaZe Rug, he was like the other last guy. He's left as well, and FaZe Clan actually do a tweet and they say it's heartbreaking to see this era of FaZe, so, you know, who knows, maybe they'll be back. Certainly on the FaZe Clan side, that doesn't seem very likely. I know that Zinni and some others have given their thoughts on what they should do next. Look, all I want to know, what does JoeDeceives think? Let's get a deck put together from J, what he would do with FaZe. I'm pushing the narrative. J for FaZe CEO. It's got to happen. He can turn this ship around. But look, FaZe Clan, they say, we wish the boys not only the best, or the best as creators, but also as people. FaZe has always felt like a family, etc., etc. FaZe Esports, now, you know, why are we still like, the guy who wrote this obviously doesn't understand esports, because this spelling of esports, nobody has been using that for about 10 years. It's esport. I mean, you know, would you capitalize the M in email? No, it's all lowercase. So that always annoyed me. And so even the FaZe account is tweeting out FaZe Esports with a capital S. So yeah, I think that kind of shows how far we've fallen, really. But anyway, FaZe Esports will always be operated as a separate entity, has always operated. Nothing on that side will change. That will become our main focus moving forward. Hopefully they can actually spell it right. That would be nice. Now, FaZe Clan, as you can see, 0 following. So it's over, right? They're not following anyone. They were following 6 when I did the first video on this topic a couple of days ago. They were following 4 as of yesterday. It's now down to 0, and of course, notably enough, with Kaysan leaving, the other guy on that list of being followed still was ZooMaa. It's also just quickly worth noting, if I go to, what is it, affiliates right here, you can see that there are still 2 accounts affiliated with FaZe, one of which is FaZe Esports, actually spelt correctly by the people who know what they're doing, and then the Flank, who of course is ZooMaa's show, still associated with FaZe. So that stays, right? That's, for now anyway, the Flank is still, it's not going to disappear, but it's still affiliated with FaZe Clan on the official social media. So I thought that was at least notable. Again, everyone was doing the whole left FaZe Clan because this has been going on for 3 days now, and it finally came to a conclusion last night, especially because of ZooMaa, right? Like, it finally happens. ZooMaa recognised that, okay, enough's enough. FaZe have unfollowed me. Whoever's calling the shots over there. So it's no longer FaZe Clan for ZooMaa, right? Like, in his bio, it was the Flank, FaZe Clan, FaZe Esports, Stallions, which is his own thing, really. But yeah, FaZe Clan officially disappears, and yeah, it's over, right? ZooMaa leaves FaZe Clan. He's still with FaZe, pretty much the only guy that's still there with FaZe right now. Apart from, of course, Kaysan. So this is what he had to say. I left FaZe, but not esports. Again, spelled correctly. I don't know why that annoyed me so much, but it is what it is. And he gave a few comments on stream that I'll share for you guys. Now, he says, look, for those who didn't watch the stream, he puts this in the FaZe Counter-Strike community. I want every single one of you to know that nothing will change with the team or anything at all with FaZe Esports. You guys are in great hands with an incredible team who cares, and that will continue. So, positive news if you're a fan of the FaZe Esports side, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everything will be so simple.
Hey, how do I edit my
Like, whenever you're making an action, just communicate you're making an action. Like, even, I think it was the first P5 or the P1 swoop.
Man.
Like, I think it was Colt come to, like, we had numbers, or we killed one, I think, off hold, so we had numbers. He said play through mid, and then he took a route to P2 on the right. And then, like, you kind of said it, but it was kind of already too late.
It's over.
Oh, at the end
Done
of the
with.
P4 Tree Hill?
The first one, yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
We were up 50, and then you went right off that old. Rather than
Like,
pushing.
I went through P2.
Done.
Yeah, but
FaZe
you took a route
Esports
away from
only.
basically. Like,
FaZe
we had control of our lobby,
Esports
we killed one, and then
only,
sure
Jack.
Colt called,
Man.
play through mid, like, go to you.
I can't believe what's going on.
I'm telling you that at this point, if all the
sad and
in a very weird place because I also didn't want to let my boys down who were leaving. And that is also why whatever they decide to do and whatever that our group, I'm not going to say their group, our group does, I will continue to do that with our group. But at the same time, I'm also not going to abandon FaZe Esports. And I'm making that very clear that it is a separate entity. People were worried that there was going to be a massive impact on the FaZe Esports side. And I'm here to tell you guys that there is going to be no impact whatsoever to FaZe Esports. The CS team is fine. Our Call of Duty team, who has also an incredible owner in Paul Hamilton, who is one of the greatest esports owners in the industry, is there. And I'm there running the show with him and his brother, obviously. We also have ZooMaa, who in my eyes is the every part of the identity of what I believe what FaZe should be. And I want to show so much love to my brother ZooMaa because he embodies what the brand is. And
so OpTic versus FaZe is not going away. We're still going to get FaZe Vegas in the Call of Duty League. It's, I think, very interesting what it means on all those different sides. Okay, obviously FaZe Clan was different. That was the IRL, the streaming side and all of that. But still, FaZe Clan is kind of what FaZe is, right? So yes, it's a separate entity run by actual competent people. Paul Hamilton, Eric Anderson, those guys over there. And as Kaysan says, look, Kaysan knows what he's doing as well. He's given a lot to this scene over the last few years. ZooMaa, as he says, is kind of the lifeblood and represents what FaZe want to be in many respects. So, look, maybe ZooMaa still needs a Supermax, whatever. But the reality is that because FaZe Clan is no longer working, then FaZe Esports has to be its own entity. So it has to stand on its own two legs, as it were, right? It's got to make sure that that's making money and making things work in its own right. Is that going to be the same story? Are they going to be able to sell the same amount of merchandise without the existence of FaZe Clan and without some of the other creators with FaZe helping to support that side of the scene? I think things are going to be different. Things might well change. With COD, as we know, it's actually run by a separate organization entirely in Atlanta Esports Ventures. So that also raises questions. As I said the other day, Atlanta Esports Ventures are licensing the FaZe name from FaZe, and presumably that's from FaZe Esports rather than from FaZe Clan. So maybe that situation doesn't change, but maybe some stuff needs to be rewritten, right? But the reality is they still have plenty of esports teams, and they will just have to be very careful how they run it from here. But it's kind of remarkable that effectively, with everything about FaZe over the last few years, it's now just Kaysan and ZooMaa. Like, those are the only guys, really, as part of FaZe, and the actual decision makers and the owners on the FaZe Esports side, the names that I just mentioned. So, what is the plan, right? Does Simp get the Supermax? Does he try to continue repping FaZe? Simp even did a tweet the other day that said, well, what's going on, lads? Like, tell me it's going to be okay, Kaysan. So, yeah, look, COD owner, FaZe Esports operations, ZooMaa is talent, but also, let's be honest, he is going to have to be a decision maker over there now, you'd imagine, given the way that things have gone, now that he's no longer a FaZe Clan member, right? He's just on the FaZe Esports side. That is not going to change. And then, of course, all their players across the different games. The Counter-Strike boys, the COD boys, Rainbow Six, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Halo, etc., etc. So, look, it's not like these are all the FaZe members now. This is kind of where we are. Well, FaZe members in some regards, but it doesn't really, since they separated things a little while ago, these guys are FaZe Esports players, a little bit different to the FaZe membership precisely, but it might as well just be one and the same thing nowadays. So, yeah, what does it mean for the future of FaZe? Difficult to say, but it's kind of crazy that it's all just fully collapsed over the last 72 hours, and here we are talking about whether FaZe Esports, FaZe Call of Duty, FaZe Vegas, of course, as it's known in the Call of Duty League, is particularly long for this world. So, look, I don't expect immediate impact of this. I imagine things will keep running as it is for now, but as I say, there's multiple reasons why this could well be problematic in the near future. So very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
There's two in our spawn, I'm not even trolling.
He's in the elevator. He's sitting in the elevator.
Did he actually hit it?
Bro, he's in that.
I just called it up. I called it.
He's up in there. He's one shot. He's in the elevator.
Yo, hit the alley. Hit the alley.
He's right here though. He's right here.
Yo, good one.
The other side.
Behind you, bro.